What if instead of asking one AI to build your software or your app, web app or mobile app, you give it an entire development team? In this video, I will show you how I built 4 AI agents inside Claude Code. An architect, the coder, the tester, and the manager. They work together like real software engineers, like real software team, and I will build this with you step by step. And this is what they built. Just clicking around, they built. I give them an app to build for me, which is just a simple quiz app for kids. I can go through, pick a category, Old Testament, whatever I want to do, and go. I can go back home. This is what the interface looks like. I can start from here, choose whatever category I want, pick the level I want as well, and click on go and see is asking me a question. What seed did you just walk on? Whatever, I don't know, just pick anything and says, oh, it continues. Where was Jesus born? Bethlehem. Yeah, I got that one score. What did Jesus feed? Loaves and fishes. Select whatever you want. So this app is working, and I can do this, with my team. If this app is working already and I have other features that I want to add in this app, I could also tell my dev team to do this. And I only gave it one prompt for it to build, and it all built this process. So yeah, you can build yours, and just watch the full video and see how this whole process or how we got to this point. Well, have you ever been imagining to build your AI dev team or build your AI agent dev team, but you don't know how to do that? You are not a coder, but you also need a team that will be able to do your coding, do the plan, do the code, the testing, and also review everything that everyone has built. And you be the manager to make sure that the app or whatever they have built is meeting the goal or meeting your goal or the goal of your customer. So today I'll be using Claude Code. You can also use Claude Code to do this, but I'll prefer to use Claude Code to tell it what to do. And to do this, I don't have to do so much like even typing. All right, so here I don't have to type here to say everything I want to do. I can use the voice recording here to do, a lot of people can use Whisper Flow or even the Super Whisper to record so that it will structure it on the way that they want it. But I would prefer to use this one on Claude Code to, record what I want to do. So I will just start with, this is called meta prompting. Just talk and it's going to structure it and it starts talking. Create 4 agents with this specific job descriptions. Agent 1 is the architect. It turns ideas into plans. It asks the key questions or what it should know about the product it's trying to build. Agent 2 is the coder. It writes the code based on the agent 1's plan. Then agent 3 is going to be the tester. It only tests and it tries to break the code that agent 2 has built. They can argue between each other, going back and forth. That's the whole idea. It tries to break whatever agent 2 has coded. Then agent 2 will fix that if it is broken. Then agent 4 will be the manager. It reviews the work that other agents have done and flags any issues. To me, and I can review that as the CEO. What else? So these agents will all work together and review each other's plans. So agent 1 should have maybe Opus 4.8 because it has a good is a good model for planning. Then the other agents like the coder and the tester can use Opus 4.6, and the reviewer should not write code. That's agent 4 should not write code. It can only have read access and it reviews code. Any feedback it gives goes back to agent 1 to review it and see if it can incorporate that into the plan. Then the coder codes the code, that's agent 2, and the tester tests the code or tries to break whatever agent 2 has built. Oh, that's the workflow. All right, I'm done talking. So, well, I can review this if I want. So now we are going to allow it, do the work and build. And while we are waiting for this, so the whole idea for having four agents is that, you have them all separated with different brains. They're able to think in isolation and do what they're supposed to do based on a plan or based on the structure of the work. And so the whole plan is first, the step will be first. Oh yeah, it's asking us questions. So let's, just review that. What should these agents, where should they live? um, I would say new folder. All right, you mentioned output 4.6 for the code and the tester. What model doesn't exist in the current lineup? Okay. We can use Sonnet. Yeah, we can use that. All right, so the first step is to tell Claude Code or Claude Code Work what to do for you. The second step will be once they are done building, you will give them a product, like something small that they can build for you. Just think about something and give them an idea like, oh, build this for me. Then the step three will be for you as a CEO or the manager or the big manager that is managing the whole agent, will be for you to review the work. Does it meet the need, or does it meet the product specification? Does it meet the needs of the customer or like the end user? You're the one that knows them. Yeah, so it's saying something, agent team. All right, allow Claude Code to run create project. Yes. So next is asking to write all the MD files for all the agents. So it's going to write this MD file, and in this MD file is what, well, we'll review this at the end of the day. Allow once. Well, I'm using Claude Code because for people that are not, programmers, or you don't use an IDE, this might be a better interface for you to work on. But if you're familiar with code, you can go to your VS Code, and while you're using Claude Code in your VS Code, you are able to see the files as well. But here, I'm not able to see the file, but I will show you what the files look like when it's done building. So now it's building the third agent, which is the tester. So now the third or the fourth agent is now the agent, or the fourth agent is now the manager, is building the MD5 for the manager. So here's my VS Code. I can use this to go open the file or open the folder where it has built this. This is my document, AI agent, and I will open this. I will see that I already have, let me close down all this. I see that I already have this Claude. It has created the, architect, MD5, it has created this, and all that. Maybe I can continue on here or trust the folder. But we can review this file one after the other, and you can review this in details if you want, but I will just try to skim through it. So remember, you just gave it an idea like, oh, this is what we want this whole agent to be doing. So it says, turns a product idea into a concrete implementation plan. It uses that at the start. That's what it's going to do. So when giving a product idea or feature, it's going to ask questions to get any clarifying idea, ask more questions so that it has the context of what it's going to build. And it also knows, like, deadlines, ask anything that it needs to. Let me say, for instance, if I say build me a quiz app, it's going to ask questions like how many questions should it pull at a time? Does it have a targeted audience? What kind of quiz? It's to ask all those questions to have context of what you mean by a quiz app. Then it's going to hand that over to the coder. Coder will start. Let's check out what the coder is. So coder writes code based on the architect's plan. So it's not going to write any other thing. It's just going to write what the architect has planned. That's what it's going to write. The tester here is going to test, read the code and the plan it was built against. So it's going to read the code and read the plan and see, does that meet what the plan is all about. Then with the code, is going to try to do things like, the plan is to build a quiz app that is supposed, at each time you're doing this quiz, it shows you like 10 questions, and for that 10 questions, the tester is going to try, oh, can I put 20 questions? And if it was able to put 20 questions, that means it has failed. So coder will go back to, fix that. And the manager is just going to read review and be sure that everything aligns with what the plan is all about. So if there is anything, it flags it and say, oh, this is of a concern, just look at this and fix it. So now that we are here, we can start testing this team, or we can start testing our dev team. So what can we give it to do for us? Our quiz app is a lot big. Well, let me start with something simple. Maybe the quiz app, or let me say Bible quiz app. Well, we can also go back to Claude Code and ask it, like, how do I use it? So let's see what it's going to say. So it says this and what they do. These are project scope. They only appear when you run Claude. So we have to be on the Claude, inside Claude, for this to run. Sub-agents can invoke each other directly. So the back and forth argue with each other, happens because you are in the main session. One mate also drop a short project. So now you see it's already suggesting, add the Claude MD5. So I press my tab key to select that text and I'll do this. So it's going to create this. If I go back here, I see that the Claude MD file is being built. So remember what it says, for us to use this, we have to be in Claude session. So either you be on Claude session or you can open the app. But let me just close this so I have a bigger flow of how to use this. All right, let's see what it says. It's done building. Added this, document the pipeline order, and to use it, run Claude from that folder. A fresh session will pick up the workflow automatically. All right, so let's go back to VS Code. Let's say build a Bible quiz app. Okay, I will kick off the agent team pipeline, starting with the architect. You see that? It's going to plan the app. Let's see how this is going to be. So plan Bible quiz app for kids. Now it's going to go to the directory. Well, this is already here. And while this is going on, you see the architect is thinking through this and is planning. So with this plan, is going to think through what does he need, if there is any clarifying question, it should come back and ask. So I think this thinking process is going to take some time. So just give it some time and see what this is going to build. All right, it says the plan is done. The architect has delivered a solid plan. Now I will send it to the coder. But how do I even see this plan that it has done? Like, hey, I want to see the plan that he has given to them. Well, we can go back to Claude Code and ask, when the architect is on plan, enhance off to the coder. Can I view this one? How do I view this one? All right, so the coder is going to, okay, let's see, maybe everything is going to live in this Bible quiz folder. So I'm going to allow this. Now we see this Bible quiz. This is the app they are going to build, and it will start building it. In this setup, the architect is sync automatically shown to you. So when a sub-agent finishes, it results comes back to whichever session invoked it. Well, in practice, just ask in the moment, show me the architect plan before you hand it over to you. That's one-off instruction each time. So if I had wanted it to show me the plan, I would have said, oh, show me the plan when you're done before the coder begins. But now we didn't say, that's okay. We can add an explicit checkpoint to Claude MD after the architect finishes, prints the full plan to you, waits for approval before invoking the code. Well, you could add this, but at this point, I just don't want them to. Once you're done, hand it off, and that's okay. Continue building. I trust you guys. Well, I trust you guys, but I can review the whole product when it's done because I'm the one that gave the idea, so I know what my product should look like. Technically, all right, now the tester has started testing the app. So the code is implemented, now sending it to tester. It started testing, so it's asking for some permission. Well, at this point we're just trying it out. So, whatever you need, just take it. Go ahead. All right, just a little quick, to tell you what this has been doing so far. So the tester found three issues. It found issues, all six bugs, fixed. It sent it back to the coder. The coder, did some fixes and returned it back to the tester. Tester tested again and found more three issues and sent it back to the coder. So now they are going back and forth and trying to fix things. And here I am still accepting, for the coder or the tester to proceed on some things. So this is what you expect when you have a team of dev working for you. Once the tester breaks something or sees there's a loophole, it sends it back to the tester for them to fix it. So this is that process. Once you're done going back and forth and everything is fixed, then we can continue and move this to the manager to review. All right, so they are all done and everything is done. The quiz app is ready. Here is the summary, where everything is, and 5 categories. It has, well, let's not talk details about the app itself, but you see what the team did. The architect designed the full plan, the screens, the data model, and file structure. The coder implemented all the 6 files across the 3 rounds of fixes. The tester found 12 bugs, well, 3 rounds. So it means it went back and forth with the coder to fix things. And the manager reviewed and signed off after the final fixes. So here's the manager's optional suggestion for me. Advance, add the timing, is telling me what to do, and, add age brackets or like age, these are like more things I can, consider. Increasing time to respond, these are things they have already done. I can do that. I can ask them to do it, add features. So the app is already built. That's the minimum viable product is already built. So if there is any feature I want to add, I can tell them to add that. But the good thing we want to ask now, oh, how do we even build the app? What does the app looks like? All right, want me to address? Well, let's ask it. Open it in the browser. Let's see. Open it in the browser. It's going to open this app. Let's see how it is and we can test it out. All right, so here is the quiz and we can start and click on things. But well, pick a category, Old Testament, whatever I want to do, and go. I can go back home. This is what the interface looks like. I can start from here, choose whatever category I want, pick the level I want as well, and click on go and see is asking me a question. What seed did you just work on? Whatever, I don't know, just pick anything and says, oh, it continues. Where was Jesus born? Bethlehem. Yeah, I got that one score. What did Jesus feed? Loaves and fishes. Select whatever you want. So this app is working and I can do this, with my team. If this app is working already and I have other features that I want to add in this app, I could also tell my dev team to do this. All right, that's it. Our app is all built and our team is, ready. You can use it and build it anytime. So questions you will ask, how do I use it? Do I always give it new ideas every time? If you already have an app that is working, or you've been building something, you can, instead of just building this whole thing yourself, you can add this team to your already existing project. But make sure that for your project, it has a Claude.md file which lists what this app is all about. It gives it information, gives it context about the idea or what you have been building. So the AI team or your team can review what you have built so far. Then if you're building a new feature, you can ask this, tell it, this is the feature you're trying to build or the feature you're adding to your existing app. Then the architect is going to plan this feature to add it to your existing app, and it's going to go back and forth with the coder tester. You can also add in the Claude.md file if you want to review the plan before it starts building. You can also include that in your MD file, Claude.md file, to always show you the plan before it starts building. If not, you can just allow them to build and give you whatever they are done building. And well, that's the end of the video. I will appreciate your like, subscribe, and I will see you again. Well, if you don't know me, my name is Ogochukwu. I own Claude Code Hub. I help individuals understand AI and how they can use AI in their business, in their life, in anything they want to do. All right, I'll see you again next time.